Segovia is a city in the autonomous community of Castile and León, Spain. It is the capital and most populated municipality of the province of Segovia. Segovia is in the Inner Plateau, Meseta Central, near the northern slopes of the Sistema Central range and on a bend of the Eresma River. The city is famous for its historic buildings, including three main landmarks: its midtown Roman aqueduct, its cathedral, one of the last ones to be built in Europe following a Gothic style, and the medieval castle, which served as one of the templates for Walt Disney's Cinderella castle. The city center was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1985. History. The first recorded mention of a settlement in what is today Segovia was a Celtic possession. Control later passed into the hands of the Romans. The city is a possible site of the battle in 75 BC, where Quintus Caecilius Metellus Pius was victorious over Quintus Sertorius and Tertullius. Tertullius died in the fighting. During the Roman period, the settlement belonged to one of numerous contemporary Latin convents. It is believed that the city was abandoned after the Islamic invasion of Spain centuries later. After the conquest of Toledo by Alfonso VI of Leon and Castile, the son of King Alfonso VI, Segovia was resettled with Christians from the north of the Iberian Peninsula and beyond the Pyrenees, providing it with a significant sphere of influence whose boundaries crossed the Sierra de Guadarrama and the Tagus. Segovia's position on trading routes made it an important center of trade in wool and textiles. The end of the Middle Ages saw something of a golden age for Segovia, with a growing Jewish population and the creation of a foundation for a powerful cloth industry. Several splendid works of Gothic architecture were also completed during this period. Notably, Isabella I was proclaimed Queen of Castile in the Church of San Miguel de Segovia on December 13, 1474. Segovian was a local flannel cloth used for upholstery in the 14th to 17th centuries. It was a twilled weave structure with a hairy surface produced by using Spanish wool. Like most Castilian textile centers, Segovia joined the revolt of the Comuneros under the command of Juan Bravo. Despite the defeat of the communities, the city's resultant economic boom continued into the 16th century, its population rising to 27,000 in 1594. Then, as well as almost all the cities of Castile, Segovia entered a period of decline. Only a century later, in 1694, the population had been reduced to only 8,000 inhabitants. In the early 18th century, Segovia attempted to revitalize its textile industry, with little success. In the second half of the century, Charles III made another attempt to revive the region's commerce. It took the form of the Royal Segovian Wool Manufacturing Company, 1763. However, the lack of competitiveness of production caused the Crown withdraw its sponsorship in 1779. In 1764, the Royal School of Artillery, the first military academy in Spain, was opened. This academy remains present in the city today. In 1808, Segovia was sacked by French troops during the War of Independence. During the First Carlist War, troops under the command of Don Carlos, Count of Molina, unsuccessfully attacked the city. During the 19th and first half of the 20th century, Segovia experienced a demographic recovery that was the result of relative economic stability. Demographics. The population growth experience during the 19th century accelerated steadily, beginning around 1920. 16,013 inhabitants recorded that year, 33,360 in 1960, and 53,237 in 1981. Since the 1980s, growth has slowed markedly. 55,586 in 2004 and 56,047 in 2007. As of January 1, 2019, there were 11% of inhabitants who were foreigners, 4.478% coming from other countries in Europe, 2.37% being Africans, 3.7% being from the Americas, and 0.435% being Asians. Heritage. World Heritage City. In 1985, the old city of Segovia and its aqueduct were declared World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. The old city contains a multitude of historic buildings, both civil and religious, including a large number of buildings of Jewish origin, notably within the Old Jewish Quarter. One of the most historically important Jewish sites is the Jewish cemetery, El Pinarillo. Among the most important monuments in the city are the Aqueduct of Segovia, located in Plaza del Azulejo, is the defining historical feature of the city, dating from the late 1st or early 2nd century AD. The Alcazar of Segovia, the royal palace built on a stone peninsula between the rivers Eresma and Clamars, is documented for the first time in 1122, although it may have existed earlier. The Segovia Cathedral, the last Gothic cathedral built in Spain. Citation needed, it is considered a masterpiece of Basque Castilian Gothic architecture and is known as the Lady of Cathedrals. Citation needed. Juan Gil de Hontanon, Rodrigo Gil de Hontanon, and other masters of Spanish architecture worked on the construction. It was consecrated in 1768 and is 105 meters long, 50 meters wide and 33 m high in the nave. Citation needed has 18 chapels and has 3 doors, El Perdón, San Frutos, and San Gerodio. The walls of Segovia existed when Alfonso VI of Leon and Castile retook the city from the Arabs. Religious architecture. Iglesia de San Esteban, Old Main Synagogue. View of the Church of San Milán de Segovia from Cervantes Street. Churches and chapels. The city maintains an important collection of Romanesque churches of both stone and brick, which include the churches of San Esteban, San Milán, San Martín, La Santísima Trinidad, San Andrés, San Clemente, Santos Justo y Pastor, Iglesia de la Vera Cruz, Order of Malta, and San Salvador. The Old Main Synagogue is a former synagogue, converted into a convent after the expulsion of the Jews from Spain in 1492, but civil architecture. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. February 2015. Learn how and when to remove this message. The Ayala Berganza Castilian palace dates from the late 15th century. Due to a multiple murder that happened in the late 19th century, is known by Segovia as the House of the Crime. Casa del Seo on San Francisco Street. Casa Museo del Torreón de la Zoya in the Plaza de San Martín. Casa del Siglo XV, or of Juan Bravo, House of the Count Alpuente. The Casa de los Picos and others in the Calle Real. La Taberna Ruby, the oldest tavern in the city. The Casa de la Moneda, a former mint included in the production and manufacturing theme of the European route of industrial heritage. Urban sculpture. Loba Capitalina, at the foot of the aqueduct. Urban sculpture in Segovia feature works depicting illustrious figures linked to the city. But there are also several works of a religious nature. One of the most iconic sculptures of the Loba Capitalina sits in front of the aqueduct. A copy of the Capitoline Wolf is preserved in the Capitoline Museum and was a gift that Rome gave to the city in 1974 during the events of the bimillennial anniversary of the aqueduct parks and gardens. Alcazar Gardens. Plaza de la Artilleria. The Alcazar Gardens was built in the plaza where the old cathedral and the episcopal palace existed before, and was created on the occasion of the marriage of Philip II to Anne of Austria in 1570, removing the ruins that still existed. This, however, was not fully realized until the visit of Ferdinand VI in the 18th century. Between 1816 and 1817 the first trees were planted and enclosed with the fence that currently exists. They were destroyed by the fires suffered by the palace in 1862, and recovered again in 1882. The economy of Segovia revolves around metallurgy, agriculture, furniture, construction, and tourism. The town itself plays host to thousands of day trippers from Madrid each year due to its popular attractions. Transport. Segovia is served by the Autopista AP 61, which opened in 2004. Segovia-Guayamar railway station provides a rail connection to Madrid-Chamartin and Valladolid-Campo Grande via the Avenue Network's Madrid-Leon high-speed rail line culture. Museums. Gastronomic Museum of Segovia. Museum of Segovia. Museum of Contemporary Art Esteban Vicente. Museum of the Bishop's Palace. Museum del Pasado. Museum of the Cathedral. Museum Zuloaga. House Museum of Antonio Machado. Museum of the Roder Robles Foundation. Museum of Witchcraft. Museum of Arms. Museum of the Walls of Segovia. Jewish Center. Muses. MUSES, Muestra de Cine Europeo Ciudad de Segovia, is the Spanish acronym to the City of Segovia Festival of European Cinema, an annual film festival which takes place in the city since 2006, usually in November. It gives the wider public a chance to get to know quality European cinema, and, above all, it offers the general public an opportunity to see European films, which have not yet been commercially screened in Spain, but have been very successful with critics and audiences in their own countries. My Cat Lives in Segovia is one of the films presented to the audience. Festivities. Facade of the Cathedral Night View. Monastery of St. Mary of Peril. San Lorenzo, around August 10th. It is the feast of one of the neighborhoods in the city. Fairs and festivals of San Juan and San Pedro, late June. These feasts have been held since the 15th century. San Frutos, October 25th, patron saint of Segovia. At mid-morning the carol of San Frutos is sung in the cathedral, after which there are often various activities in the Plaza Mayor, as a proclamation, a concert by the band of the Segovian Musical Union, mycology exhibition, etc. In recent years, following the established tradition of drawn traditions of the sleeve, Segovia's pastry chefs have invented a dessert of the saint. On the last night to San Frutos, the Segovian congregate at the image of the saint, who is at the door of the cathedral, to see him, turning the page of the book that she holds. Virgin of the Fuencisla, September 25th, patroness of Segovia. The biggest celebration day takes place during the last Sunday of the month. Holy Week. Paso during the Holy Week in Segovia. The Holy Week is one of the most important cultural and religious events in all of Segovia. It is officially considered as a fiesta of national tourist interest. During the week, 10 fraternities march through the streets of Segovia. Legends. There are many due to the longevity of the city. Among the main ones are legend of the construction of the aqueduct by the devil, legend of the rooks and the church of Veracruz, legend of Maria del Salto, a Jew saved by the Virgin when she was going to fall off the cliff in La Fuencisla, legend of the good bandit of the 19th century El Tuerto de Piran, legend of the Street of Death and Life during the Camino Revolution, legend of the La Mujer, Muerta Mountain Wink with a Frown 18, legend of the House of Crime in the San Milan neighborhood, legend of the Academy of Artillery about the ghost of a young medieval friar Wink with a Frown 19, legend of the Prince and the Aya, caretaker, about the fall of the infant Pedro, 12-year-old son of Enrique II, through a window of the Alcazar, legend of Alfonso X el Sabio about God's punishment of his heresies.
老吵的，而且感情老特别。但是我现在来的辰光呢，现在个辰光啊，勿是老紧张的辰光，晓得伐？觉着我有得选择。伊拉讲侬要是summer vacation搿辰光来哦，哎，侬没选择个，紧张得来吓死人一样啊！觉着我现在选择这个辰光呢嘛，稍微，伊这个建筑侬看哦，侪是种黄哈哈的，对伐？这个伊这个墙头哦，伊这个roof哦，伊这个天这个就屋顶哦，侪是石头的，勿是像美国侪是搿种油毛砖的，对伐？就是讲老古色古气的，辣美国侬看不到搿种景色。搿只灵个，搿只灵个，搿只景色老灵个，搿只老灵个。哎，你要吃咖啡伐？我请侬吃。
没，我请侬吃好了，大概个。
我请侬吃，我要条件比侬好一眼。
搿么震撼哦。
啊，搿只物事蛮灵哦。
震撼。
搿只物事灵个，搿只灵个。今朝中饭我请侬哦。不要讲，侬不要客气哦。侬同我点两只西班牙菜，我想吃两只正宗点的西班牙菜。阿拉勿懂个啥叫西班牙菜。 票子那不买，要买票子吧？
没得，我没得。
那么搿种商店啊，是小商店，买小一两老说，哎，上海老城隍庙，现在上海老城隍庙买个么子。美国人侪没了，美国侬买么子，要么沃尔玛，要么 Target，对伐？侪是大商场，你进去啊，多了不得了，样样侪有，对伐？侬侪是要个么子自家拿，对伐？拿好自家去付钞票。
对，
搿条商业街里向可能有得参观个。
参观啊。
伊拉搿种搿种阳台侪小老小个哦，侪是过时过节。我住个地方个阳台也是搿能个，老小个，起来些个。小得不得了。我屋里向只阳台也勿要太大哦，阿拉叫 deck，D-E-C-K 了 deck，不过勿是铁个，木头个就是搿。阿拉有辰光夏天介就浪头吃饭啊啥。
那是住的别墅里头
啊，
对伐？
阿拉侪是这个自家有房子个，我有自家本。
搿个房子老有特色。
老有特色。不过呢，西班牙有好个地方，伊偷侬物事，但是伊要钱不要命，侬晓得伐？还是比较安全个，你晓得伐？美国像纽约那种地方，搿黑人就勿是跟侬讲要钞票了，要侬命了，拿把枪了，对伐？伊拉叫做 rubber at the 枪 point， 枪 point 就是拿个枪口对牢侬，侬帮我皮夹子，侬勿帮我枪，
搿么㑚美国好持枪个咯？
好买枪个，侪有侪。我老婆跟小人有交关枪，我没枪，我勿欢喜枪。我介大把年纪了，要枪做啥？侬晓得伐？要从这个加拿大这个一面只温哥村游轮上去，明年5月份。随后呢，伊到英国去，搿伊肯去个，一道去，但是要乘游轮。像我搿能走，伊勿肯。太沙头自家。
不，侬到也体力蛮好个。
蛮好哦。
一家头能。
我第一天哦，第一天从埃面出来哦，从这个叫JFK，就是这个纽约个叫做肯尼迪机场对伐？乘飞机过来第一天哦，我行李也没包放脱了，我就进了兜了。第一天跑了18英里了，第二天跑9英里了，跑了结棍啊！我现在就是还跑得动，搿辰我要抓紧旅游，侬晓得伐？到啥辰光跑不动了嘛，也没就算了。
自己锻炼伐？
啊，跑，南边跑，也要跑，屋里向跑，但是没跑介结棍，两英嘛，2英里一天了，跑。
因为搿岁数一家头搿能出来旅游，搿 应该讲是有点实力，有点能力的。
也不是讲有实力，没办法，你知道，have no choice，没人陪我。
我感觉当中侬肯定要么跟旅游头，
跟里头不去。
别人要么是有旁边一道同伴。
同伴没同伴啊！阿拉，我四个地方这个Senior Central 啦，一个老年中心哦。伊拉侪勿欢喜自由旅游个，伊拉侪欢喜就是有老年centre组织个，就是搿趟勿是到阿拉斯加去嘛，就是有老年中心组织个。哦，搿啥物事啊？圣john cruise，这个勿晓得。这个是老年中心组织个，结棍了，6,000块一个人了。阿拉老婆是要求老高个，要有得这个游轮要有得阳台，对伐？没阳台勿去当中位置勿去个阳台。那么从出门一刻，全部包脱。伊这个巴士送到机场，再回来也是个巴士接送。伊这个伊勿欢喜老吃力个，勿肯吃力个。我无所谓，我欢喜自由行，自由点。刚刚也来过啊，搿地方。没来过，好像差勿多。搿只它好像有点像那个阿拉省工会了，阿拉老婆只叫了，叫省工会，方特。但是伊这个方特个有4根柱子个，4米啦，短长头对伐？有只小阳台，有4根柱子个。往啥地方跑？往这里跑啊！
这个房子有年代感。
搿地方
年代感。
明在了。搿侬个纪念嘛好啥啥这个西班牙节了哦，跟㑚老婆2家头哦。
一家门侪好吃，
搿蛮好个。哎呀，离开上海了，总算离开上海。哎呀。好个，阿拉到那边去。搿 student， 迭个英文呢 ，student houses， 大概好英文啊。
这是啥个学生啊？
搿种教堂是勿是辣辣中世纪啊？
对。
800多年、900多年，好像搿个辰光。